Have you heard of the most current popular sport called pickleball? Well, if you haven't, today you'll not just be learning a little bit about it, but you'll also be learning about the top doubles players in this game at the moment who have really left a mark on the game. Hello, I'm an artist, Bethanjan, and I paint without a paintbrush. I instead use different objects that make the piece of artwork more meaningful and add a story to them. And in this painting, I'll be painting with only a pickleball paddle on a 24 by 30 inch wooden canvas using oil paint. First, let's talk a little bit about pickleball because I know some of you out there, at least the first time I heard about this sport, I was envisioning an actual pickle just, being hit around in the air. And frankly, that is not the case here. Pickleball is kind of like tennis and ping pong combined into one sport. And just to keep it really simple, there's a lot of different rules to this game, but it's on a smaller tennis court, and just like tennis, you can either play with singles or doubles, being 2 to 4 people. I first heard of this game when my parents started playing, and I decided to give it a try. And it was a lot of fun. I can currently understand why it is the fastest growing sport in America, because not only was it fun to play, but it was a really easy way to get some physical fitness in without really having to push myself too much. My parents also knew someone through their work that they had began a company making the paddles for the sport, and this is how I was introduced to the head of an amazing company called Paddle Tech. They had heard and saw my artwork that I was creating when I was graduating from college, not painting with a paintbrush and rather using different objects to add to the piece of work. And they reached out to me and wanted to commission me for this very special project that I am painting currently. Like most companies, they sponsor different individuals through the sport that are professionals, and one of their sponsorships is a individual who is at the top of this sport. Literally, she is the #1 player in the game right now currently, and her name is Anna Lee Waters. And when they approached me about this, they had also mentioned that some of her accomplishments, she started at the young age of 16 being at the top of her league for this, and that she actually played doubles with her mom, Lee Waters. And it was just like things were just piling on top of one another. I didn't know what else could get more crazy, but this was by far the craziest commission I had been hired for till this moment. Like, this is the craziest thing I had ever heard of. Like, to be able to just say, oh, I hadn't even graduated high school and I'm a professional in this sport, and I also play with my mom, and we're like the unstoppable doubles people in this sport. It's just absolutely crazy to think about. I knew after talking to them about this project that I needed to look up some more information about the two of them, how they work together as a team, their backstory, because this was the first time I had ever heard of two family members, playing on a professional level together in a sport. It's still crazy to think about to me. I just think it's absolutely amazing that a mother-daughter duo in a professional sport that is it's up and rising at the moment. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. That's okay. On to how they, started playing this, who started first, their entire, basically just a little bit of a background of the two of them. Just like all of you out there, I have lots of questions as to how this started. From the understandings of everything that I was reading online about the two of them, it was actually her mom, Lee Waters, who started picking up this sport. She started playing pickleball while she was still working her job as an attorney at a really big firm. And then it wasn't until later on that she decided to quit her job when she went pro in around 2019. But the story as to how the two of them started playing together is a little bit of a different story. They had a home down in Florida, and it was unfortunate that a hurricane had taken out their home. The two of them went to their her father's home in Pennsylvania for the time being, just to wait out and, being able to rebuild and everything. For the longest time, the two of them hadn't played pickleball together, but with all this time on their hand that they had in Pennsylvania, they decided that they would end up playing together, and they played a lot of pickleball in their time in Pennsylvania. And like mother like daughter, Anna Lee was really, really great at picking up the sport and just being really athletic and understanding how the game goes and everything. Their time spent in Pennsylvania, they actually ended up doing a lot of local, public, open to the public games, and they did really, really well. It wasn't until they had returned to Florida, they joined a special club and decided that they wanted to take this a little bit more seriously, and decided just for fun, they would join a pro tournament. The tournament was a little bit daunting for the two of them, and they knew that from the start that it was a little different from a public community tournaments that they had from Pennsylvania compared to now this pro club in Florida. And after losing to that, both of them decided to take this a little bit more seriously and to take it on as a profession. It wasn't until 2019 that Lee Waters, her mom, decided that she was going to go pro, and she quit her job at that time. And then it was not too long after that her daughter decided that she was also going to go pro. They ended up versing each other actually after the two of them had gone pro, but they weren't officially like a doubles team always going together. And it was in October that they played at Chicken and Pickle, a big tournament, and Anna Lee ended up winning, going against her mom. And her mom, I can't even imagine what that's kind of like, having your own child ending up beating you at something that you had started. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable situation to have to deal with. And so, she took time to collect her thoughts, and she really thought, this is probably something really great, that my child is excelling in something in this professional of a sport, and I should be happy for her and continue to, even though I lost to her, this is something good. So basically after that point in time, she wanted to have her, her daughter succeed in going forward in this, and they then from that point continued to play as double partners in pickleball. And this was at that moment where pickleball really started to gain a lot of popularity really fast in the US. And for the first time, usually pickleball was being broadcasted from being uploaded on, YouTube through cell phone videos and whatnot. And it wasn't really being showcased on, live television sports yet. But it wasn't up until there was a very big sponsorship through Skechers, and CBS decided that they were going to then broadcast this really big tournament. They showcased the best for men's and women's facing off each other in matches. And what was so interesting is that the two of them, this was a very big game for the two of them, because, this is the first time they're being showcased on live television, and this game is very new and fresh to America, basically. The two of them going against two other the number one team at the time, which was Kaylee Smith and Lucy Kovalova. I definitely butchered that name. It looks like koala, but my brain, dyslexic. They surprisingly enough won this huge match. It was a really big and important match for both of their careers, and especially for pickleball as a sport in history. Them being showcased the first time with a big company, CBS and everything. From them winning that match, they gained a lot of recognition and fame, not just being the number one, doubles partner in pickleball, but also, that they are, again, a mother-daughter duo. One other thing I did want to look into was kind of like their dynamic and how their relationship is from, playing this game professionally together and how it really affects the two of them as family members. And I read a lot of articles that they mentioned how they have grown really close to one another from just playing together. And although they do have, some situations where, you have disagreements with family members, that's always going to happen. But when it came to coming onto the court, they put those differences aside if they had any, or most of the time they didn't really have many arguments just because they have grown so close together. They kind of see each other as really close friends rather than just family members as well. So I just really respect the amount of respect they have for one another, being a mother-daughter duo, and spending time as family on the court and off the court. I really thought that the image that was selected, this is really unique as well. I just wanted to mention this, but instead of Paddletech choosing the image, they allowed Annalie's grandparents to choose the photo in this whole process. And they really thought that this one exemplified, their energy with one another, the Waters as a whole, what they bring to the court as a team. And I could not agree more. I want to first off apologize. I know there isn't as much footage of me painting them, but I had such a big time crunch. And as you can tell, there's a lot of footage where I'm just super close to the whole painting, and a lot of footage that I was looking through while I was editing this was like the back of my head. So I decided that I wasn't going to try and edit all of that out and rather just show you guys the final result, what the paddle looks like now. I think it's so cool because if you can look at the paddle, it has her signature on it as well, Annalie's signature. And I think that's so even more unique that it's like, it just adds more to the story. Like, does it not? It does, absolutely. Anyways, here is the final result. Again, I thought it turned out really, really well considering with the amount of time that I put into this. It is by far my best commissioned piece of artwork that I have created to this day, to be honest. If you want to check out any of my other paintings that I painted without a paintbrush, there are plenty to go look at my channel. And if you want to get to know me more, you can subscribe, like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!